All right, folks, this video going to test out this here MSI B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. I was basically in this video going to get it up and running. We're going to do this hopefully as quick as we can, minimal connections. I'm going to try using a little bit of thermal paste with this passive CPU cooler so I don't have to do all the connections. Realistically, as long as it doesn't get too hot, it should work out all right. And we just want to check. I'm going to check all the RAM slots. Maybe not in the video. We'll do the minimal. Get A2, I think it is. We'll get that one working. And we're going to get it to boot to BIOS. Try some of the USBs out. I'm not going to worry about SATAs. And then disassemble it and put it up for sale. But yeah. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to put the CPU in here. And we're going with the Ryzen 5 3600 XT. Now, hopefully I have a BIOS update on this thing. I think this one should be all right since there's the 500 series motherboard. I know some of these don't like the 3200G or the 3400G, but this one should be all right. All right, so we're going to come back in a little bit, put the thermal paste on there, and put the cooler on. I say put it on. It's basically just going to be pressed down on it, all right? DDR4 RAM, we're going to put one stick in here, double click. Good to go there. Now, when I put that in, folks, this is a different RAM, but there was one side shorter than the other. All right, so make sure you put that in the right way. So we've got that. We need a 24-pin power connector. Get that in. And then our CPU power connector goes in right there. I will need a graphics card for this CPU, so we will we'll just go ahead and plug that in now. GTX 1050. I use this in a lot of videos just because it's so easy. Doesn't require the PCIe connector. We'll need a, we've got a display port. And hopefully this cable's good. I actually did not test it before the video. So hopefully it's still in working condition. All right, we got a power supply hooked up to it. We got a RAM now. We just need to put some thermal paste on here. And this is really, a temporary thing. So I don't want to waste any good thermal paste. We're going to try and I have this bag of thermal paste here. Let's try and find some cheap shit in here. Maybe this V-True. I think this is V-True. I go through so much thermal paste. Actually, this is thermal take. So you guys can see that. We're just going to put a little bit down there. It would have been better to have it exactly centered, but now, of course, we'll know right away in the BIOS if this gets too hot. In some motherboards, you need to have a CPU fan installed. Now we could just pick that up and see how that spread. Not so great. And that's because it's not being compressed down very good. So, but we're going to go with it. All right. Now I'm going to come over to my power supply. It's currently in the off position. I got to plug this in. Back up so you guys can see that. And I have all these cables dangling all over the place. All right, so it's energized now. Now the one thing I forgot to grab, folks, was a switch to turn this on. Could use a flathead, but we got something better. That's just like a little power switch. You can get these off of Amazon, all kinds of different other sites. This should be our front panel connectors. There you go. So you can see them. Power switch is the 3rd and 4th pins on the top row. I was wearing my glasses earlier. Now everything's kind of blurry. All right, so should be good to go ahead and hit that button. You could do this with your case connectors. Now I'm going to adjust this so hopefully we can see the monitor fire up. So far we're not seeing anything. Hopefully it's on. Yeah. Rookie mistake, right? You know how many videos I've made, folks? How many computers I've installed? Doesn't help not to have it plugged in, right? So, let's see if we get something now. Now, assuming the last time I used this, I didn't have XMP set to some higher value, hopefully we'll be all right. We may find ourselves rebooting this a couple times. And I don't even see the little light on for the monitor, so the monitor is definitely on. Let's try this. I'm going to reboot. Easy Debug does have one light on. Hopefully it's not the CPU. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell which one's staying on. I should have these things memorized. Oh, guess what? There we are, folks. So we're in, and that's really all we wanted to do in this video, was be able to get into BIOS. Now, what I need to do, and this kind of goes along with my series on, reselling motherboards. I'm not trying to test everything out because I don't have that much time, and I've got a ton of motherboards to work through. But I just want to check the USBs. That works. And we look at our RAM. XMP profile 3000, so we are hitting that. It does recognize our CPU over here. You see Ryzen 5 3600 XT. So I have at least one motherboard I've got to go back and test out because I didn't work with the 3200G. So I'm just trying to do every USB. Some of these I only do a couple. That looks good. That one works. Now Wi-Fi, I'm going to tell them I didn't test the Wi-Fi. I could just as easily put an M.2 in here and test it out. But like I said, who's got time for all that? Maybe it's worth $10 more. All right, so all the USBs work. Now I do have a drive right here. Now if you were at home, hey, you would probably want to test everything out, right? So let's do this like we're at home from this point on. So I'm going to go ahead and put an M.2 in here. And we're not going to screw it down. Look at that fan's going to keep it right there in place. We'll turn it back on. Hopefully we'll turn it on. There we go. And so if we're lucky, we'll end up in Windows. I'll pause this until that hopefully happens. All right, so we actually did boot into Windows. And it looks like I could get into Wi-Fi. Let's go ahead and log in. So it's logging in. I am happy to see this one looks fully functional. So we don't even have our antennas plugged in. and it did pick up the Wi-Fi. And I do have some antennas sitting around here somewhere. Hopefully they're in the box. If not, we'll find a couple to sell with this. But yeah, fully functional, and we're good to go, folks. So this thing, you know, obviously there's some other things we could test out, and if it wasn't for I'm pretty much getting rid of, let's say, all of my AMD stuff, I may get back into AMD after the 7000 series. But right now we're kind of done with AMD. Just doing Intel 12th and 13th gen. I'm going to get into 8K gaming here shortly, so need to clean house, raise some funds for that. Get another graphics card. Obviously, that'll run 8K better than 3090. We got, you know, one of the best processors right now for it. But yeah, so there you go, folks. Minimal connections to get this thing up and test out for resale. Thanks for checking out.